Have you ever felt like you were in an impossible situation where the odds were stacked against you and hope seemed a distant memory? Today, let's journey back in time, not just to read an old story, but to uncover a timeless message of hope, courage, and divine purpose that speaks directly to our lives today. We're going to explore the incredible story of the birth of Moses. Imagine this: you're living in a world where your very existence is seen as a threat. The government, the highest power in the land, has issued a terrifying decree. Every newborn boy among your people must be taken away. This was the reality for the Hebrew people in ancient Egypt. They were enslaved, oppressed, and now facing a systematic campaign to destroy their future. It's a dark picture, isn't it? A situation that seems utterly hopeless. In the midst of this fear and despair, a Levite woman named Jochebed gives birth to a beautiful baby boy. The Bible, in Exodus chapter 2, tells us she saw that he was a fine child. Can you imagine the mix of joy and terror she must have felt? Holding this perfect new life in her arms, knowing the danger that lurked just outside her door, but instead of surrendering to the fear, she chose courage. For 3 months she hid him. Every cry he made must have sent a chill down her spine. Every knock on the door must have felt like a death sentence. Yet she protected him. This first part of the story reveals a profound truth about faith. Faith isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. Jochebed's love for her son was stronger than her fear of Pharaoh. She chose to trust in a power greater than the laws of men. This is our first lesson. In our moments of deepest fear, over and faith can empower us to take courageous action. But Jochebed knew she couldn't hide him forever. Her next move is a masterpiece of faith and ingenuity. She takes a papyrus basket, coats it with tar and pitch to make it waterproof, and gently places her son inside. She then puts the basket among the reeds along the bank of the Nile River. Think about that for a moment. She places her most precious treasure into the very river that was meant to be his grave, trusting that God would intervene. This act is so symbolic. For us today, how often do we try to control every outcome, to manage every risk in our lives? Jochebed's story teaches us that sometimes the greatest act of faith is to let go, to place our hopes, our dreams, and our deepest worries into God's hands and trust His plan, even when it seems illogical or frightening. She did what she could, and then she entrusted the rest to God, and who is watching from a distance. Her daughter, Miriam, she stands by, a silent guardian, waiting to see what would happen. This highlights the importance of community and family. In our struggles, we are not meant to be alone. Having someone watching out for us, standing with us in our uncertainty, can make all the difference. Now the scene shifts. Pharaoh's own daughter comes down to the Nile to bathe. She spots the basket among the reeds and sends her attendant to get it. When she opens it, she sees the baby boy crying, and the Bible tells us her heart was moved with pity for him. She immediately recognizes he's one of the Hebrew babies. At this pivotal moment, God's plan unfolds in the most unexpected way. The very heart of the enemy's family becomes the instrument of salvation. This shows us that God can work through anyone, at any time, in any situation. He can turn a place of danger into a sanctuary. He can soften the hearts of those we might consider our opposition. Never underestimate how and where God can show up. His solutions are often far more creative and surprising than we could ever imagine. Miriam, seeing her opportunity, bravely steps forward. She asks Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" It was a brilliant and courageous move. Pharaoh's daughter agrees. And who does Miriam bring back? Her own mother, Jochebed. Just absorb the beauty of this moment. Jochebed not only gets her son back, but she is now being paid by the royal house of Egypt to care for him. The very decree that was meant to destroy her family becomes the source of its provision. God didn't just save Moses. He orchestrated a plan where his own mother could raise him. instilling in him the faith and heritage of his people, all under the protection and funding of the enemy. This is the message of redemption and restoration that God wants us to know. What the enemy intends for harm, God can and will use for good. This is a promise we find echoed in Romans 8:28, which says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Your current trial, your struggle, your impossible situation, God can weave it into a beautiful tapestry of purpose and provision. So, what does this ancient story mean for you? First, it's a powerful reminder that our lives have purpose, even when we can't see it. Moses was born in a time of crisis, yet he was destined to be a deliverer. You too were born for such a time as this. The circumstances of your birth, the challenges you face, none of it is an accident. God has a specific plan for your life. Hebrews 11:23 says, Moses' parents knew their baby was super special, so they hid him, and they were not afraid of the king's edict. They saw something special in him. God wants you to know that you are not ordinary either. He has placed unique gifts and a divine spark within you. Don't let the edicts of this world, the voices of negativity, doubt, or fear extinguish that light. Second, this story teaches us how to navigate our own Nile rivers. What is the overwhelming problem in your life right now that feels like it is going to swallow you up? A financial crisis? A health diagnosis? A broken relationship? Jochebed's example encourages us to build our own basket of faith. We do our part, we prepare, we plan, we act with wisdom, but then we must release the outcome to God. We place our situation in His hands and watch expectantly for His divine intervention. And finally, God's message is one of unwavering hope. Moses' birth shows divine destiny beats human plans. Pharaoh was the most powerful man on earth at the time, but he was no match for the plan of God. The same is true today. No matter how powerful the opposition or how desperate the circumstances, God's purpose will prevail. So take heart. If you feel hidden, remember that you are being protected for a purpose. If you feel like you're adrift in a sea of uncertainty, know that God is directing your path. And if you're up against something absolutely impossible, right? Remember that God can turn the heart of any Pharaoh and use any situation for His glory and your good. Your story is still being written. Like Moses, you may be in the early chapters, a period of hiddenness and preparation. Trust the process, have faith like Jochebed, courage like Miriam, and an open heart to see God work in the most unexpected ways. His plan for you is one of hope and a future. Thank you for joining me on this journey today.